What's up, grinders? Welcome back to the channel. Today I had no goddamn intention of doing any form of grinding or even making a video because, well, I'm feeling like shit. I'm not sure what it is. Might have been that cheeseburger that was sitting in the fridge, and I'm not sure how old it was, but it still tasted good. But it's not like that type of thing. It's just like a general tiredness at the moment. I think I'm probably coming down with something. But anyway, I did not want to make a video and I did not want to grind. And for like at least the first half of the day, I was like, yep, I'm not doing it today. Today's going to be an off day. I'm going to take a break. But then, out of nowhere, it hit me. The grind. See, the grind, it took over. It grabbed me by the balls and it started to pull hard, and that just woke me the hell up. So what am I talking about right about now? Okay, well, you know how I always say, you gotta grind the language, okay? Because there's going to be days where you don't want to do it. And boy, oh boy, was today one of those days. Hell, today's kind of still one of those days, but I managed to get through it. I actually managed to do a grind session today that was probably better than the last few days of grind sessions where I was feeling fine. And I kind of want to talk about that now, thankfully, because it helps me make a video, because I had no idea what I was going to talk about, but it does help me here. And maybe this will help you guys, because I am in that kind of point where I'm just like, fuck it, don't want to do it, but I've got to do it. Because I treat this YouTube channel kind of how I treat languages. I got to do something every day because, well, that's the only way to grow the channel, help more people, and shit on more people who deserve to be shit on. So let's talk about how I managed to do that. So, I have been now for a number of months studying every single day, making progression on my Chinese. That is my focus. I don't treat Spanish the same. I'll do Spanish some days and I won't do it other days. For me, it's not a priority, but Mandarin Chinese is the one I'm focused on every single day. And I've been doing it now every single day for so long that if I skip a day, I just can't. Even when I want to, I just can't. And it's such a weird thing, because if I don't do it now, after I've set this grind in motion, after so many months, like it's 6+ months now, I guess, I'm just like, something's amiss, something's wrong. I need to sit down and I need to do it no matter how bad I feel. I'm sure there's going to be a day that comes up where I'm like violently ill, projectile liquids coming out of both ends or something, but like that day has not yet hit. But it will be interesting because I am going to China for 3 weeks at the end of this week. So there might be the fact that I cannot do YouTube videos every single day while I'm there. And I've been treating YouTube like a grind as well. So essentially I've had 2 separate grinds going. One for language, Mandarin Chinese, and one for YouTube. So I want to talk about this because here's how I deal with this when I'm definitely down and I don't want to do this. Now, this might not work for everyone, but this is what works for me. First up, have you guys ever, I'm sure this has happened to you guys, but I remember when I was a kid one day, I was 12 years old and I was walking through the bush because I'm from the outback and, you know, we live in the bush out there. But I was walking through the bush and I remember one day thinking to myself as I was walking through, I'm going to remember this moment in the future. One day in the future, I'm going to remember this exact moment I'm walking down this path. And I don't know why I had that thought. Maybe that was just the point in my life where I developed the concept of time, you know, like beyond just past and present. But like I started thinking to myself in that moment, I still remember it very clearly to this day, that I was like, remember this moment. You're going to remember walking through here. And I've never forgotten that moment. Never. Not once in my life. Like, maybe it's changed slightly in my mind with, you know, the reaccounting of the memory over time, but I still remember it as clear as day. I was standing there on that path and I was looking down the ground thinking about this while kicking a stone with my right foot. And then I just walked on. And what happened after that moment, I can't remember. What happened before that moment, I can't remember, but I remember that moment. And it kind of set like a flag in time for me. And now, as a result, during my life, I always compare back to that point in time, you know. It's almost like my version of AD, BC type of thing. You know, that was the point where I started thinking about the future in time. Now, as a result of that, when I started learning Esperanto, I placed more flags in my mental mind. You know, moments that I kind of wanted to remember and I kind of wanted to recount. And I thought maybe these would be useful one day. And by God, have they been useful for Mandarin Chinese. So let me give you an example. I still remember the day I started studying Esperanto. I remember like how I found it, everything. And I don't remember it because I placed a flag there in my mind or anything like that. It's just because I've told this story so many times and as a result it has happened. But I did place like very specific flags in my memory at different instances in time. And one of them was, I remember I was in a car with some Esperanto speakers. One came down from Germany and there was some local ones. And at this time, my Esperanto was nowhere near fluent. I would be like, let's say probably an A2 level, okay? And I remember listening to these fluent Esperanto speakers in the front of the car because we were actually going out to the bush and we were going to go on some type of excursion together as a group. There was me and a bunch of others and there was several cars going out there. But I remember listening to them chat, catching little bits here and there and stuff like that and going, I can't quite get what's happening here in this conversation. It's just too fast, it's too flowing, there's too much happening, but I'm getting individual little words here and there. And this was the first time I think that I was encountering a foreign speaker of Esperanto, because up until this point, it had all been Australians, basically. And I remember when I was sitting there going, I'm going to remember this moment. One day I'm going to look at this moment, like I'm going to look back in time at this specific moment when I was sitting in the car struggling to understand this conversation between these like two different people. And at that moment, when I look back at it, I'm going to be fluent. And you know, the funny thing is, I look back at it all the time now because it's a reminder to me, it's a flag in time that there was a time where I did not understand and now I do. I fully understand this language, no problem at all. Doesn't matter what you put in front of me for Esperanto, I can fully understand it. But there was a time when I didn't. Now that may sound stupid, of course, because you learnt a language, that happens with everyone. But having this mental flag in time where I just like, I remember that moment so clearly, it just gives me kind of that, you know, the BCAD type of thing going on here. Now I've got a few of these for Esperanto. I remember when I first made my first video in Esperanto, and I remember I had to remake that video, like, it must have been 8 or 9 times. I remember filming, stopping, looking up words, doing it again, stopping, looking up words over and over and over. And just that one thing, I remember sitting there going, you know what, this is my first video, but one day I'm going to be able to do this without a problem. And the funny thing is, I can look back at that now, and I can see that. And with my Mandarin Chinese, I've been going through that same journey. Now, I haven't actually set any flags because when I did set flags, it was kind of like a spur of the moment type of thing. But I think I'm going to set a flag this time when I go to China, just to really like get an idea of where I am in time. And the great thing is I know that when I set that flag, that is just representative of the fact that one day, 5 years from now, I'm going to look back at that and laugh at the fact that I did not understand shit. Well, maybe I will. I don't know, like, because it's been 6 months or more? No, it's been a lot more since I've been to China. It's been like 8 months or so. So maybe this time my understanding will be a lot better. But I can guarantee 5 years from now, it's going to be substantially better. So I'm going to set that flag. And I figured I'd share that with you guys because that there is kind of like encouraging to me. Now, I've spoken about, you know, doing physical tracking, using diaries and stuff like that. But there's something interesting to be said about just having your own mental flag in time where you can look back and go, God damn, I did it. That's all I wanted to share with you guys. If you like this video, like it, sub to the channel, and I'll see you all in the next video. Unless I am violently shooting liquids out of every hole in my body.